I am a huge fan of Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke is one of the great comedies of that era. I saw that in the theater so many times, and I am not a marijuana smoker, never have
69.
been, don't like the pot, but I love the adventures of Cheech and Chong. The first movie is so many classic moments. I love it. Tell me about Cheech and Chong's last movie. Alan,
Yes.
which is
Well,
a
did you know?
documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. It's the story of Cheech and Chong. The setup is that Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong are in a car in the middle of the desert, and they are out there to meet someone at a place called the Joint, which they have no idea where it is. But while they're on this trip, they reminisce about the past, and it's pretty much a fairly standard documentary. The story that kind of is the spine of the movie is played for laughs, but there are people they interview. They get specific interviews with Tommy and Cheech. But it's basically their career, where they first started. Tommy was born in Calgary, Canada. He's half Chinese, half Irish. Cheech was born in Watts, and they tell the story of basically how they met up. There's Tommy Chong was an exceptional jazz musician, so much so that he wrote some very famous songs back in the '60s that nobody knew he wrote. Cheech, on the other hand, was a kid from Watts who, had a difficult relationship with his father, and in order to avoid the draft to Vietnam, he got an opportunity to kind of be kind of I want to say a nurse or companion to someone in Canada, and so he got a job and then moved to Canada, and when Tommy had created, so after Tommy did jazz, he started into comedy. He created a comedy troupe. Cheech saw the show, wanted to be a part of it, and that's kind of how Cheech and Chong came to be. And it just goes through the story. A chunk of their career was as a comedy duo. They made movies. They made records. I think they were one of the early ones to not only make records, but really succeed at making records. And then it talks about the movies, how they got into the movies, and how basically the movies drove them apart.
Those records we listened to. What was great about those records and other records at the time, if you remember, Steve Martin, right?
Let's Get Small.
Like those records, we listened to those, and what was cool about it is we always felt like we were doing something wrong. Like we'd sit there, listen to these albums like, oh my God, we shouldn't be doing this. It was like we were doing drugs by listening to the albums. It was constant. Let's put on the album. We'd laugh our asses off. So it was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah. It's interesting because they have Lou Adler in the movie. And Lou is their record producer. He's famous. He did Tapestry. He produced The Mamas and the Papas, Carole King, Jan and Dean. And he he was at a show of theirs, brought him in and said, I want to produce your albums. And he also directed Up in Smoke, which kind of broke them up because the one thing you'll find out is that Tommy is very serious about comedy, about the performance of comedy, and he wanted to direct the movies. He didn't want Lou to do it. That was the tension there. And also when they started making more movies, Tommy was the guy in charge, and Cheech was ultimately kind of pushed to the side, and that's what ultimately broke them up. But in terms of a documentary, I think if you're a fan of Cheech and Chong, you're going to love this documentary. I'm not sure that everyone else will, because you really have to know and like these guys to get into it. I'm not as big a fan of Cheech and Chong as you are, but I am now. Just hearing these two guys, they're still friends. They've had their problems, and that is brought out in the film. I had a good time, even though it's over 2 hours long.
Is it?
Yes. It is.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's 123 minutes.
It should be 90 minutes tight.
Yes.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But
the stories are interesting. The stories are
And
interesting enough.
did they get into the story that the movie Stripes, starring Bill Murray,
Mhm.
that was supposed to be a Cheech and Chong movie.
Interesting. No, they didn't
And
get into that.
and yeah, they rewrote the movie for Bill Murray, but they really wanted, when they did Up in Smoke Part 2, which was not very good, they only did it because they could direct it.
Mhm.
And they didn't do Stripes because of that. But there's still pot humor in Stripes with the character of Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that that is a big story. They did not get into that. That's
No, they didn't.
crazy.
Not at all. One interesting fact about Up in Smoke, they both earned $50,000 making that movie each. No, I'm sorry. They shared $50,000.
So 25 grand between them.
Yeah, and it made over $100 million in the theaters, and which was huge back in the
Yeah,
late.
but did they profit? Did they
No.
share in that?
They got they shared $50,000.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
Tommy has a good attitude about it. It was basically they took a chance on two nobodies, or two guys who had never made a movie before. And as bitter as they were about it, they kind of understood it, and they got better deals down the road,
Oh, that's good to
which
hear.
kind of made up for it.